It seems as though anytime a backup quarterback for the Cowboys plays on Thanksgiving, they obtain magical superpowers. It doesn't matter how good or bad they are in actuality. If a Cowboys backup is playing on Turkey Day, just quit while you're ahead. Clint Longley comes into the game against Washington in 1974, Cowboys win. Danny White, who gets the start after Gary Hogeboom gets benched, comes into the game against New England in 1984, Cowboys win. So with so many iconic performances on Thanksgiving by Cowboy backup quarterbacks, a few are bound to slip under the radar. And in 1981, a lesser-known performance happened where a Cowboys quarterback, against all odds, came off of the bench and led his team to victory. This is the story behind Glenn Carano's heroic Thanksgiving victory against the Chicago Bears. First, we need some context as to how we got to this point. It's November 27, 1981, and the Dallas Cowboys are playing in their annual Thanksgiving game, this time squaring off against the Chicago Bears. For the Bears, this game is pretty meaningless. They have the worst record in the NFC at 3-9, and they're 3 back of a playoff spot with 4 to play. But for the Cowboys, this game is huge. While they pretty much have a playoff spot on lock, they're tied for the division lead right now with the Philadelphia Eagles at 9-3. Back in 1981, all the division winners got a bye, so to win this game and keep your lead in the division would be monumental. And a big reason why the Cowboys were so good that year was the play of Danny White. This is not the first video I've made about him. I made a video about some incredible fake punts of his, which you can check out in the upper right corner. The 1981 season was at that point the best year of Danny White's career. The week before against Washington, he threw 2 touchdowns and no interceptions in a win. And in the 3 games before Thanksgiving, he had thrown 8 touchdowns while posting a passer rating of 107.1. Entering this game against Chicago, he was playing some of the best football of his career. Unfortunately for the Cowboys, they didn't get to see a whole lot of that in this one. With the score tied at 3 apiece in the second quarter, White dropped back to pass, stepped up in the pocket, saw an opening, and decided to take off and run. He got drilled on the play by Gary Fensick, the Pro Bowl and first-team All-Pro safety. He lost the ball and got injured in the process, suffering bruised ribs. The hit was clean, and White said after the game that this wasn't a flagrant shot. But with White out, it meant that the backup quarterback was thrown into the fire. And for the Cowboys, that man was Glenn Carano. A bit of background on Serrano just to see what he was getting himself into here. He was drafted out of UNLV in the second round of the 1977 NFL Draft, but had not been used too much. His only playing time that season came at mop-up duty against the 49ers, where he went 3 for 12. Up until that point, he had thrown 24 passes in his career, and had completed a grand total of 8 of them. Oh, and he was going up against the Bears defense that over the past 3 weeks had allowed an average of just 114 passing yards per game, and held Lions starting quarterback Eric Hipple to a 37.3 passer rating in their last game on Sunday. This was a daunting situation to be thrown into, and he struggled a bit early on. The Bears eventually capitalized, with Vince Evans scoring from 2 yards out in the fourth quarter to give Chicago a 9-3 lead. Considering the fact that the Bears were 13-point underdogs heading into this one, a win here would have been a monumental upset. The extra point got blocked, which definitely will not come into play later on in the game. Dallas is now down by 6 with just under 7 minutes left in the game. Time for Serrano to step up and deliver, just like Longley did less than a decade prior. And that's exactly what happens. A nice scramble to get the first down and put the Cowboys into field goal range. Then a beautifully designed screen pass to Ron Springs gets the Cowboys in the red zone. Serrano did his job here on the scramble and the screen, and then he let his halfbacks do the rest, as a few plays later, Springs ran it in himself to tie the ball game. And following the extra point, the Cowboys led 10-9 and won it by that scoreline. And just like that, Serrano, who came out of nowhere, was the hero. Tom Landry had nothing but praise for Serrano, saying that when he settled down in the second half, he executed very well. He said, "We have some good backup quarterbacks on this club. The only problem is that they don't get to play much." Ron Springs said that they had confidence in him, and that Serrano is a fine passer and a fine quarterback. And Danny White said that with the pressure on him, he did a fantastic job in a trying situation. In about 1/2 of work, Serrano finished the game with 131 passing yards, including a 55-yard pass to Tony Hill in the second half. and while his stats might not pop off the page, when you put it in the appropriate context, it was a heck of a performance. Serrano only played in one more game, which was the very next week against the Baltimore Colts, where he got the start for the injured Danny White. While they won 37-13, he did not play well, throwing for just 51 yards and an interception, completing less than 40% of his passes, and posting a 42.4 passer rating, which is just marginally better than if you did nothing but spike the ball into the ground on every single play. He played in the NFL until 1983, though he never saw another snap in a regular season game, and finished his career off in 1984 with a less than impressive season with the Pittsburgh Maulers in the United States Football League. But when he got his chance on Thanksgiving in front of a national audience, like so many other Cowboy quarterbacks before him and after him, he made the most of it. He saw an opportunity, and he took it. For many Cowboy and NFL fans around this time who ate Thanksgiving dinner while watching the Cowboys win this one, Glenn Carano's heroics will never be forgotten. Be sure to like this video, ring the notification bell, and subscribe down below if you haven't already, as it helps the channel out a lot. And be sure to check out Twitch every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern for your chance to play NFL trivia and win cash prizes. Link in the description below. If you want to see videos like this condensed down to 60 seconds, then follow me on TikTok at JaguarGator9 and subscribe to 60-Second NFL History on YouTube. Also, special thanks to all of our Patreon supporters for helping the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. So you can become a patron and request future video topics in the description below.